So, continuation of the previous class, we are discussing the spherical mirrors. We know spherical mirrors are of two types, concave mirror and convex mirror. So, when we consider the concave mirror, the outer side of the surface is polished, whereas the inner side is the reflecting surface. This is concave. If we consider convex, the inner surface of the mirror is polished, the outer surface is the reflecting surface. What is pole of the mirror? Pole of the mirror is nothing but the geometrical center of the mirror is the pole of the mirror. So P represents the pole of the mirror. The first one, concave mirror. Second one, convex mirror. Before going to further, just a small revision of the previous class. This is concave mirror, convex mirror. P is the pole, geometrical center. If I assume this is a part of a complete sphere, the center of the sphere is the center of curvature. The center of the sphere, complete sphere, is the center of curvature. The radius of the sphere, complete, is the radius of curvature. Pole, center of curvature, radius of curvature. The line joining the pole and the center of curvature is the principal axis. Here also, the line joining the pole of the mirror and the center of curvature is the principal axis. From where to where we can take the principal axis? We can take the principal axis from minus infinity to plus infinity. And whenever we consider the light rays, paraxial rays means which are very near to the principal axis, and the light rays parallel to the principal axis always passes through a fixed point on the principal axis. That fixed point is called principal focus. If the light ray is made to incident on the concave mirror parallel to the principal axis, first point. Second point, the ray must be paraxial ray. After reflection, definitely that light ray passes through a fixed point on the principal axis, and that point is called principal focus. The distance between pole and the principal focus is the focal length. The distance between the pole and the center of curvature is the radius of curvature. In the previous class, up to this we have discussed. Now, sign convection in case of the spherical mirror. Sometimes we will take positive sign for some distances, and for some distances, calculation purpose, we will take negative sign. So what is the sign convection in the case of the spherical mirror? Either convex or concave. The first point in case of sign convection, all the distances must be measured from pole only. Pole is treated as origin. The pole of the mirror is treated as origin, and all the distances must be measured from the pole only. All the distances must be measured from pole. The pole is treated as origin. What is the second point? In sign convection, the distances measured in the direction of light ray are taken as positive. The distances measured in the direction of light ray are taken as positive. Either the center of curvature, radius of curvature, object distance, image distance, the distances which are measured in the direction of light ray are taken as positive. Third one, the distances measured opposite to the direction of light ray are taken as negative. If the light ray is traveling from left to right, imagine, we calculate the distance from right to left, then those distances are taken as negative. 3 completed. The fourth one, all the heights of object, image, the heights measured above the principal axis, is taken as positive. Sign convection is important in optics. Instead of taking positive sign, if we take negative or negative sign instead of positive, entire problem becomes wrong. Last one, the heights which are measured below the principal axis are taken as negative. If you remember these 5 points, for solving these sign convection, for solving the problems, these sign convections are most important. All the distances must be measured only from the pole. The pole is taken as origin. Second one, the distances measured in the direction of light ray are taken as positive. Third, the distances measured opposite to the direction of light ray are taken as negative. The heights measured above the principal axis are taken as positive. The heights which are measured below the principal axis are taken as negative. Let us come to the diagram itself. Concave mirror. I want sign convection for the radius of curvature, and also the focal length. In case of convex mirror also, what is radius of curvature from where to where we are taking? From P to C, because all the distances are measured from the pole only. P to C is the radius of curvature. If we see the diagram properly, the light ray is falling like this, from left to right, but we are measuring the distance from right to left. So the distance is from opposite to the direction of light ray. So PC is equal to minus R. In case of concave mirror, radius of curvature is negative. Similarly, focal length. Focal length means from where to where we define. From pole to the principal focus. The light ray is coming from where to where? Left to right. We are measuring from P to F, right to left, opposite to the direction of light ray. So focal length is also negative in case of concave mirror. PC is the radius of curvature, minus R. PF is the focal length, minus F in case of concave mirror. Let us consider in case of convex mirror. This is the direction of light ray which is incidenting on the convex mirror. Radius of curvature means, as usual, from pole to the center of curvature. Light ray is traveling from where to where? Left to right. P to C, also from left to right. So we are measuring the distance in the direction of light ray. So radius of curvature in case of concave mirror is plus R. Similarly, principal focus will be here. This is F. After reflection, it appears to be meeting at F, the light ray, because it is parallel to the principal axis. The light ray is parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, this light ray appears to be meeting at F. Really does not meet. So focal length from P to F. P to F is equal to sine convection. Here the light ray is traveling from left to right. We are measuring the distance P to F in the direction of light ray. So that is plus F only. So we have to keep in mind, in case of concave mirror, the radius of curvature is minus R and the focal length is minus F, concave. In case of convex mirror, the radius of curvature is plus R and the focal length is also plus R. Here itself I want to discuss about object and image distances. We will discuss deeply later. If the object is kept here, left side of P, then object distance is negative. If the object is kept right side of P, then object distance becomes positive. In case of concave mirror, if the object is present left side of P, object distance is taken as negative. If the object is present right side of P, then object distance is positive. Same in the case of image distance. In the case of convex mirror also same. If I keep the object here, then P to object Opposite to the direction of light ray, object distance is taken as negative. If I keep the object here, then in the direction of light ray, the distances are taken as positive, object distance is taken as a positive. If you learn the next topic, image formation, we'll get still clarity about the object distance and the image distance. So these are the rules for the sign convection in the case of spherical mirror. Have the snapshot if you want. We will go to the next concept about the image formation by spherical mirrors. Next concept, formation of image. How to form the image by using spherical mirrors. We have to follow some rules while drawing the image. We have to follow certain rules. What are those rules? In the case of the spherical mirrors, here we are going to discuss. So a small side heading, formation of image rules for formation of image by the spherical mirror. 4 rules are there. 4 rules are there. Ray diagram, most important. As usual, convex mirror, P is the pole, C is the center of curvature, F is the principal focus. What is the first rule we have to follow while forming the image? The first one, the light ray which falls parallel to the principal axis after reflection should pass through the principal focus. Through the principal focus. If the light ray incidents parallel to the principal axis after reflection should pass through the principal focus. Below this, draw this diagram. The light ray which falls parallel to the principal axis after reflection should pass through the principal focus. Please remember, we are discussing the paraxial rays only in entire optics. Whatever we are writing, true for the paraxial rays. First rule, the light ray which falls parallel to the principal axis after reflection passes through the principal focus. This diagram. Second one, easy, reverse of this one. What is reverse? Now the light ray passes through the principal focus, falls on the mirror, after reflection passes parallel to the principal axis, completely opposite to this one. The light ray passing through principal focus, after reflection, passes parallel to the principal axis. Second rule for the formation of image. Easy for me. Second diagram. Just reverse the arrow marks. This is the second diagram. If we see properly, the light ray falling onto the concave mirror, passing through the principal axis, after reflection, passes parallel to the principal axis. Second rule for the formation of image. This is true in the case of convex mirror also. Convex mirror also. Now, the third rule which you have to follow, most important. What is that one? If the light ray falls onto the concave mirror, passing through center, reflected back, retraces its path in the same direction. What I mean to tell? First, if we see the diagram, we'll have the clarity. If the light ray passing through the center of curvature falls on the mirror, it will retraces its path. After reflection, it will retraces its path. That is the diagram. Third one, I will write in sentence. The light ray passing through the center of curvature falls on the mirror. After reflection, retrace its path. Retraces its path. Once go back to the plane mirror concepts. In plane mirror, we have studied normal incidence. Normal incidence means what? Whenever the light ray falls normal to the plane mirror, it will be reflected back. So in case of plane mirror, normal means we will write a light ray which makes an angle of 90 degrees. Here, this will act as a normal in case of spherical mirrors. How to draw normal in case of the spherical mirror? Any line which joins the center of curvature to any point on the mirror, any point will be treated as normal, because to study reflection and refraction, normal is important. Angle of incidence, angle of reflection, angle of refraction is measured only with normal. Without drawing the normal, we cannot study the reflection and refraction concept. So here I am stressing once again how to draw the normal for the spherical surface. Spherical surface. To draw the normal, draw a straight line from center of curvature to any point on the mirror. This point, this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, wherever the reflection takes place. That is normal. For normal incidence, the light ray should retrace its path. Its path. This is the third rule. Let us go to the fourth rule. Law of reflection. As usual, it is applicable both for the plane mirror and also the spherical mirrors. Spherical mirrors. That is, the light ray incidence at the pole in such a way that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. What is the fourth rule which we follow? If the light ray falls near the pole in such a way that after reflection the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Fourth rule for the formation of image. These are the four rules which we use in order to form the image of an object which is placed in front of the spherical mirrors, either concave or convex. We shall have a small doubt. Sir, shall we use all the four, that is the rules, to form the image, four light rays? The diagram, ray diagram will become clumsy. Any two rules is enough. Any two. First one, second one, first one, third one, first one, fourth one, any two. After reflection, these two light rays are going to meet at a point, and at that point the image will be formed. How to form the image? By means of the spherical mirrors. Out of four, take any two light rays. After reflection, these two light rays are going to meet at a point, intersects. At that point, the image will be formed. If the image is formed really due to the intersection, then we will get the real image. If they appears to meet at a point, at that point we will get the virtual image. How to identify whether it is real image or virtual image? If the image is formed due to the convergent rays, then it is real image. If the image is formed due to the divergent rays, then the image is a virtual image. The real images can be caught on the screen, where they are going to intersect after reflection. At that point, if we keep the screen, we will get the image. But virtual images cannot be caught on the screen. Now, let us go to the one of the important derivation in the spherical mirrors. Up to now, we discussed 2 points or 2 concepts. The first one, sign convection in case of spherical mirrors. The next one, we discussed about image formation in case of spherical mirrors. Now, relation between radius of curvature and focal length. Relation between radius of curvature arc and focal length. This is important for board exam and also for competitive examinations. Let us try to derive the relation. We will take concave mirror. Outer surface is polished. Inner surface is a reflecting surface. P is the pole of the mirror. C is the center of curvature. F is the principal focus. Straight line joining the pole and the principal axis. Pole and the center of curvature is the principal axis. First diagram, ray diagram. If you draw the ray diagram, derivation part, simple geometry, mathematics. Now let us consider. First we have to draw the normal. Without normal, no reflection, no refraction concept. What is normal? Normal is nothing but any straight line joined from the center of curvature to any point on the mirror. I will imagine that the reflection takes place at the point A. The light ray is going to incident at point A. I will choose that point. Join the point A with C by means of a straight line. This represents what? Normal. Then take the incident ray, paraxial ray, parallel to the principal axis. Paraxial ray, parallel to the principal axis. Now go to the first rule for the image formation, already discussed. Whenever the light ray incidents on the mirror parallel to the principal axis, after reflection, it passes through the principal focus. Principal focus. This is the incident ray. This is the reflected ray after reflection from the mirror. So what represents a CA? CA represents normal to the spherical surface. Spherical surface. Let us imagine this is some already P over, suppose B, this is D, any symbol. BA represents what? Incident ray. Incident ray. What represents AD? AD represents reflected ray. Reflected ray. After the completion of the diagram, slight confusion. So we must follow by drawing the ray diagram itself. That is important in optics. CA represents normal, BA represents incident ray, AD represents the reflected ray. But I know the law of reflection, it is applicable both for the plane mirror and also the spherical mirrors. Angle of incidence, the angle between the incident ray and the reflected ray, let it be theta. Angle of reflection, the angle between the normal and the reflected ray, that is also equal to theta, because angle I is equal to angle R. According to law of reflection, angle I is equal to angle R. Law of reflection. So, if I consider angle of incidence is theta, angle of reflection is also theta. Now, from here onwards, mathematics. This is the same straight line. If this angle is theta, this angle is also theta. Why this angle is also theta? Alternate angle. If this is theta, this is also theta. This is horizontal, this is horizontal. This is a straight line. So with the horizontal, it will make the same angle. If this is theta, this is also theta. Now see the triangle. What triangle? CAF. CAF. What are the interior angles? Theta and theta. What is this angle? Exterior angle. Exterior angle. So we know the sum of the interior angles is equal to exterior angle. The sum of interior angles in a triangle is equal to exterior angle. I am using this concept, borrowing from mathematics. If this is theta, then this angle becomes how much? 2 theta. Because it is the exterior angle. Angle of incidence, angle of reflection, alternate angle concept. This one, sum of the interior angles is equal to exterior angle. Exterior angle. Now drop a perpendicular line, derivation part. Drop a perpendicular line from point A onto the principal axis. Let us treat this point is M. AM is the perpendicular line drawn onto the principal axis from point A. From a point A. Now derivation part. What is this one? Once again, a small mathematics concept. When the angles are very, very small, sin theta can be taken as theta, cos theta is taken as 1, tan theta equal to sin theta is equal to theta. When these assumptions are correct, when angles are same or small, when angles are measured or small, then sin theta can be taken as theta. Cos theta is equal to 1. Tan theta is equal to sin theta. It is equal to theta. Take the snapshot. I want to rub the board. Yet derivation not completed. And also, when angle is small, m coincides with p. When angle is small, m coincides with p. This is also another point. Angle is a small. Angle made by the light rays is a small. M coincides with P. M and P are taken as same. Now take the triangle. Which triangle? I will consider two triangles. The first triangle CAM. Second triangle FAM. Two triangles. First one, triangle CA, and that is M. But already discussed, M and P coincides. If M and P coincides, that is equal to CAP. Instead of M, I will take P. Write down tan theta. Tan theta means opposite side by adjacent side. Opposite side AM by adjacent side is nothing but M to C. M to C. But M is replaced by P because P and M coincides. So if we do cross multiplication, tan theta is equal to AM by MC. M is replaced by P, PA by PC, tan theta. Cross multiplication, PA is equal to PC tan theta. Equation 1. By what triangle? By considering the triangle CAM. It is right angle triangle. Now consider the second triangle FAM. FAM. Once again right angle triangle. So FAM equal to FAP because that will coincide. M coincides with P for small angles in case of mirrors. Once again write down tan 2 theta. So tan 2 theta is equal to opposite side AM by M to F. So tan 2 theta, so P to A by P to F. Once again cross multiplication. If we do cross multiplication, PA is equal to PF tan 2 theta, equation 2. Just I considered two triangles, one with center of curvature, the other one with principal focus. Taking pole and the point at which the light ray incidence. So PA is equal to PC tan theta from triangle CAP. From triangle FAP, PA is equal to PF tan 2 theta. Comparing equation 1 and 2. If I compare 1 and 2, So PC is equal to PC tan theta is equal to PF tan 2 theta. PC tan theta is equal to PF tan 2 theta. But previously we studied when angle is very small, tan theta can be taken as sin theta can be taken as simply theta. This is true only when angles are small. So PC into theta is equal to PF into 2 theta. So theta gets cancels. If theta gets cancels, so PC is equal to 2PF. PC means what? P to C, radius of curvature. P to F means what? Focal length. But in optics, sign convections are most important. What is sign convection? In the direction of light ray, if distances are measured, they are taken as positive. Opposite to the direction of light ray, if the distances are measured, they are taken as negative. So PC is equal to 2 into PF. Light ray is falling like this, but we are measuring in the opposite direction. So in case of concave mirror, PC is minus R, 2 into PF is minus F. Minus gets cancels. Therefore, R is equal to 2F. Relation between the radius of curvature and the focal length. R is equal to 2 times to the focal length. This is applicable for the convex mirror also. This relation. Once have the snapshot. Relation between the radius of curvature and the focal length in case of spherical mirror. The final result we can apply for concave and also convex mirror. R is equal to 2F. R is the radius of curvature. F is the focal length. Have the snapshot. In the problems, F value will be given. You are asked to calculate R. R value will be given. You are asked to calculate F. Relation R is equal to 2F. Now, let us consider the final result. Final result. R is equal to 2F. We can apply for concave and also for convex. Derived for concave, but applicable for convex also. First. Second, F is equal to R by 2. Results I am writing. Conclusions. Third most important part. Suppose this concave mirror is dipped inside a liquid, is kept in a medium other than air or vacuum. Does the focal length changes? this mirror is dipped for competitive examination inside a liquid, maybe water. What happens to the focal length? Focal length independent of wavelength. Here no lambda. Whenever mirror is dipped inside the liquid, F depends only on R, radius of curvature. If the mirror is dipped inside a liquid, radius of curvature will not change. It will not bend. It will be same. Since radius of curvature remains same, radius of curvature remains same, F value also remains same. Though it is dipped inside the liquid, either water or any liquid, the focal length does not change because it only depends upon the radius of curvature. Radius of curvature will not change if it is dipped inside the liquid. So F value also remains the same. Remains the same. Thank you. Have a good day. Once again, we will continue in the next class.